This is by far the strangest thing I've ever seen happen at Tesla. These protesters are storming Tesla's Giga Berlin factory right now. Now, I thought someone just grabbed a video of the southern US border and then posted saying funny things about Tesla. So I thought completely this was 100% fake news, but it's not. These anti-Tesla activists broke through the police lines and reached the fence of Gigafactory. These radical anti-climate activists even pulled down another fence that Tesla workers put up to block part of the road leading to the entrance of the plant. And they plan to protest all weekend? This is just beyond crazy. Elon commented on the situation. He responded to Jeff, who said, Tesla knows what to do here. The German leader needs to be informed and a message needs to be sent that Tesla's presence and growth in the area is directly correlated to the speed at which authorities neutralize this and prevent future reoccurrence. Elon says this is fake news. Protesters did not manage to break through the fence line. There are still 2 intact fence lines all around. No, this is National Protest Week in Germany, so there are a lot of protests for many different reasons. A few days ago, I reported on these people that burned these Amazon vans and then said they want to destroy Tesla. So these people are following through on what they said. They said it's going to be an exciting week of action against Tesla for the social revolution. And this is exactly what they are trying to do. I'm just wondering who is behind these puppets. Supposedly this is an environmental protest? Someone's favorite part is them yelling about Tesla's water consumption, but the asparagus farm next door to Tesla consumes more than double of what the factory does. An asparagus farm. Let's call it what it is. These are not protesters. These people are not in favor of better climate. These are just anarchists. They are protesting one of the greenest companies in the whole world. And Elon asks, why are they not jailed for breaking and entering? Rohan Patel, who worked in the Obama administration as well as Tesla, says these far-left professional protest groups are insanely dumb. I really hope the police and authorities put this to a quick stop and hold these morons accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Rohan then follows up with, thank God it sounds like this video was fake, but from everything I've seen so far, the video is real. Those are the 3 recycling buildings Giga Berlin just built. So it's not the actual factory, but hold on. So these are supposedly climate protesters that are pro-environment and they are storming the water recycling plant, which will of course make Tesla more environmentally friendly. These buildings get destroyed, right? Now let's assume that they are mostly protesting capitalism. Who are we to say that anti-capitalist ideology is wrong? Maybe they are right and we are the ones who are mistaken. So let's do this little experiment. Let's divide Germany in half and let them rule one half for, say, 40 years, and then we can check back and see if a political hypothesis holds up at all. Everyone is denouncing these protests. I haven't seen a single person say, oh yeah, that's a good thing. But if they're truly anti-capitalist, why don't they protest factories where they make really luxury cars, you know, like Mercedes Maybach that sells for hundreds of thousands of dollars, instead of going after a factory that makes cars for the working class? These protesters are truly disgusting, throwing paint on Tesla vehicles. These protesters said mission accomplished, production is halted, but let's not forget that Tesla was going to shut down this Friday anyway, and Thursday was a public holiday. Next up, Reuters. It's almost like they have an anti-Tesla agenda. Tesla's EV charging team layoffs threaten to slow Biden's program to electrify highways. In the whole article, not even once did they say anything about what Elon Musk tweeted yesterday night. Tesla will spend well over $500 million expanding our supercharger network to create thousands of new chargers this year. That's just on new sites and expansions, not counting operations costs, which are much higher. It would have been really nice to have this post from Elon the moment the news came out that Tesla laid off the whole supercharger team, but better later than never. I'm also seeing more reports that confirm no protesters actually went inside the Giga Berlin factory. The fence line stayed intact. This feels like we're living in the medieval times. We need to have walls and fences around our important infrastructure? Things are definitely chaotic at Tesla right now. However, Tesla did rehire some of the members of the original supercharging team, which were earlier laid off. If you don't hire anyone back, you didn't cut enough. It's been a long time since I agreed with Ross Gerber. He does say pro-environment protesters attack the company doing the most to reduce the effects of climate change. Crazy, I agree. Selling Tesla stock is crazy, but these protests are even crazier. We got some good news here. Some people still have not been able to take advantage of FSD's free trial because they were stuck on the old software version, but this new software version fixes that for them. And people who were not able to try FSD V12 and they're stuck on V11 will now be able to try it. It's an exciting day for them, and that means Tesla is going to collect more FSD data, accelerating Tesla's progress even further. And they are getting V12.3.6, which is the best V12 version. Some had regressions, but not this one. At least, generally speaking, based on what I've seen from all other people trying the latest software. If you like the idea of more people trying FSD V12 and then be happy with FSD, make sure to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm only going to post full-length daily videos about Tesla on this channel going forward, not on the old channel anymore. So make sure to subscribe, otherwise YouTube may think this channel is not of interest to you. And this is pretty cool. This new update lets you make your browser full screen. Nice. This next story is causing a lot of confusion among some investors. This oil giant, British Petroleum, wants to buy Tesla supercharger sites in the US. British Petroleum is aggressively looking to acquire real estate to scale our network, which is a heightened focus following the recent Tesla announcement. It plans to spend $1 billion by 2030, half of it within the next 2 to 3 years, to install over 3,000 charging points across the US. A key part of the strategy is building large-scale hubs with 12 or more chargers that it calls Giga Hubs. If there are stranded real estate partners who are looking for someone to call, they should feel free to pick up the phone and call me or look me up on LinkedIn, said a BP representative. BP last year signed a deal to procure about $100 million of Tesla supercharger hardware, with the deployment expected to start later this year in early 2025. The confusing part about the story was that it came out before Elon Musk confirmed that Tesla will still spend $500 million on expanding superchargers this year. So I believe Sawyer is definitely right to say, I believe this is just BP wanting to buy up the leases and lots that Tesla is no longer building out. Tesla is not selling existing supercharger sites to BP. James says, I don't think Tesla should sell its US superchargers to BP. This would be very bearish in my opinion, because it would mean that Tesla concedes that EV penetration has peaked. Could also imply a need to raise cash. They would be better off issuing new shares than divesting this strategic asset. Warren actually doesn't mind Tesla divesting from this business. Supercharger operations are a relatively low margin business with an upper limit on growth. BP is better positioned to maximize revenue and profit from superchargers because it has great locations and existing stores on site with experience managing them. Let BP or others do that and free Tesla management to focus on higher margin, higher growth businesses. From quite a while ago, I remember Elon saying something along the lines that a supercharger business was built to produce roughly 10% margins. So assuming that remains the case, I would prefer to keep the supercharging business. But if the number somehow drastically changed, I would be open to change my mind. But I never had any issues with any supercharger. It's just flawless. It just works. So it's a big selling point to own a Tesla for me. BP, however, is looking to hire some former Tesla employees after these layoffs. Looking at the post from Elon Musk, does he explicitly say that Tesla will operate the supercharging network going forward? I don't think he explicitly says it, but I assume he means it. But generally speaking, Omar is definitely right here. If you hear something that sounds just too crazy to be true, like future affordable models are canceled forever or the supercharger network is being shut down completely, it probably is too crazy to be true. $500 million would imply Tesla continuing to deploy superchargers roughly at the same rate as Q1. However, do remember that Elon also earlier said that Tesla would still expand the supercharger network, but at a slower pace. However, this $500 million comment doesn't really suggest it would be expanded at a slower pace. But by that earlier comment, Elon could have meant the expansion will not continue at an exponential rate. It will just be at the rate that we had basically in Q1 or earlier. Thousands of new superchargers will be built with that $500 million. To put that $500 million in context, two of the biggest non-Tesla charging network operators spent in 2023 only $159 million and $19 million in capex. But also keep in mind that if you look at Tesla's previous years, Tesla would grow its deliveries roughly 50% year over year, depending on the year. But this year it's going to be closer to flat. So naturally, you would need less superchargers. In the meantime, a federal judge on Thursday indicated a willingness to compel Elon Musk to testify again in the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's investigation into his $44 billion takeover of Twitter. So Elon is facing more investigations, more scrutiny. One day that they punish you and extort you once you get to a certain level, even if you didn't do anything wrong, just making you testify and waste your time on countless encounters with the investigators. That's punishment alone. Even if they find no wrongdoing, they wasted so much of your time. Whereas writes, Musk's lawyer told the judge the additional testimony would be a burden for Musk and take him away from obligations to shareholders. The judge asked whether Musk should be exempt from securities laws and further investigations just because he's a very busy person who is running multiple companies. Musk did not immediately respond to a request for comment. I wonder if he even saw the request. Ooh, there's some big news here. Biden administration is set to impose tariffs on Chinese EVs. One way to think about it is long term, this will hurt American legacy automakers by making them less competitive globally, but in the meantime, it will protect the American market from the Chinese. And on the flip side, if you want to import vehicles from the US into China, you're going to pay some massive tariffs, as much as 47%. So to me, it only seems fair to reciprocate. Tesla Australia has shared a supercharger update. We have heard concerns about recent changes to the supercharger program. The supercharger network is still core to Tesla's mission. The network will continue to be expanded. Projects currently in construction are continuing to be completed and put into operation. However, there are definitely big restructurings going on within the Tesla supercharging team. The whole US team has been laid off. 80% of the China supercharging team has been laid off. Tesla's Model Y7C Interior option has been reduced in price to $1,000 from $2,000 in the US when configured with a paint or interior color upgrade. I wouldn't think too much of it because Tesla has been changing the pricing of the 7C configuration quite a bit in the last 12-ish months, so I wouldn't think much of it. We got the model mix for Tesla Giga Shanghai wholesale, and it was basically half and half for Model 3 and the Model Y in April in Giga Shanghai, which shows that the Model 3 is pretty popular, which suggests that last week in China was artificially lower because we basically only saw Model Ys delivered based on the insurance data and very few Model 3. So the numbers should come back higher in the further weeks ahead. Not necessarily this coming week, but in the many weeks to come. Yes. And with Tom Zhu back in China, things are probably going to get more intense over there. Tom Zhu before in China did incredibly well. So I'm very happy with him being back in China actually. Elon replied to this post, especially Reuters. Lights, camera, BS. Elon also replied to this post with interesting, not saying it's connected, but as I watched this footage, I can't help but recall that the head of the Stanford Internet Observatory singled out Elon Musk's Berlin Gigafactory as a primary lever the German government could pull to coerce X into censoring speech. Well, this is interesting. In the last 24 hours, Tesla has posted a lot of new job openings for Giga Berlin on LinkedIn. So far, only 400 employees have been laid off and 300 contract workers have not received contract renewals, but Tesla is already searching for new employees again. Well, there have been some rumors around earlier that as many as 3,000 employees could be laid off at Giga Berlin, but we are not seeing that. Omar just tested one of the newest Mercedes out there, and he wanted to compare their autopilot system to Tesla's. Consumer Report says that Mercedes is better. They got 72 out of 100 and Tesla only got 60 61. So what's going on? Here's what happened. Mercedes had 44 interventions in 19 minutes. Tesla had 0. And on top of that, Mercedes Drive Pilot only works on these pre-mapped highways under 40 miles per hour. Tesla's system can work on any road, highway, or city streets. And yet the media is reporting that Mercedes' system is more advanced. It is a good example of why you should not trust the media and think for yourself. Thinking hurts, but not thinking hurts your life a lot more. How come Dan O'Dowd is not all over this Mercedes system having to be banned from the US? It's almost as if he knows that the system is going nowhere and therefore Mercedes is not a threat to him at all. But seriously, 44 disengagements, and how come Mercedes got a higher score? Con reports, please share your scoring methodology. Did I say con reports? I didn't mean that. I'm a consumer report. Please share your methodology. I'm so sorry about that. Elon confirms Consumer Reports sold its integrity a long time ago. But seriously, other than actually driving, what exactly are the capabilities and performance of the Mercedes system that justify a 10 out of 10 score? The last time I checked, says Jason, the main capability of a driver assistance system is to assist with driving. Is there something else it's doing that impressed you? Yeah, look, when it comes to capabilities and performance, it got a 10 out of 10. And Tesla only got a 9 out of 10. This is so ridiculous. We got some data from Waymo. Waymo's driverless fleet had 14 disengagements over 1.2 million miles in 2023. That's 85,000 miles per disengagement, which sounds really impressive. But if you remember what happened with Cruise, we know, at least with Cruise specifically, that there were quite a few more disengagements than what was actually reported. So I assume it is safe to think the exact same thing about Waymo as well. For example, with one of these companies, I remember going through a red light was not counted as a disengagement. So it's pretty safe to assume that every single one of these disengagements was really bad. But 85,000 miles per disengagement, that on the surface, that does sound really good. I assume though there have been many more. Here's another interesting observation. Ford Blue Cruise has more than 2 fatalities in around 100 million miles. Human drivers have 1.35 fatalities per 100 million miles. So less. If you use Ford Blue Cruise, you are more likely to die than just you driving by yourself. The chance of you passing away when on FSD is a lot less compared to you just driving by yourself. And with all of that in mind, do you know what Consumer Reports rated as number 1? So Waymo is now driving about 40,000 miles per day. Tesla doing roughly 15 million FSD miles per day and perhaps 200 million miles daily across the fleet. In war that will be won by data, the company with the largest number of endpoints will win. Tesla is a clear winner eventually. It is cool to see though that Waymo is providing 50,000 paid trips every week now across 3 major cities. So robotaxis as a concept has already been proven to work. Now it's just who is going to be the first to really scale and win the major share of the market. And Omar obtained more data from Waymo. So over 3.6.5 million miles driven in their test fleet, they had 212 disengagements, which is about 17,000 miles per disengagement. Oh, but 75% of their miles driven in California in 2023 had a human driver. And this is why you need a lot of data. This is an edge case for vision-based ADAS. A brand new Li Auto L9 run on ADAS mistakes the vehicle image in the overhead billboard as an actual stationary vehicle in the lane, resulting in sudden braking, and then a vehicle from behind actually hit this vehicle that started braking. That's sad. Tesla had a similar problem a long time ago, but not with V12. Oh wow, if you needed more proof to know that Gordon Johnson has no idea what he's talking about, he says that FSD12 has not gotten better. I don't think I even need to make a comment here. Guys, this is our competition. If you have tried V11 and V12, you will know V12 is much better. You will know it within minutes. We know that Tesla is deploying a large language model into its vehicles, so this might be a quote from that new large language model. Gordon Johnson has not gotten better. FSD V12. Emmett Peppers has a hypothesis for Tesla's recent drop. With reports of XAI raising $6 billion, some high net worth Tesla investors may be trimming positions to invest in XAI, even via SPVs. If this shift represents a significant portion of the raise, it could be a major factor in Tesla's decline until the round closes. It's unclear when the round will close. Elon made more comments about Giga Berlin. Something super weird is going on, as Tesla was the only car company attacked. Or is that called professional morons? Elon also said something fishy about this, that they are that stupid. Usually when someone who's not seriously dumb, or if it's a large group of people, when they do something that appears to be stupid or dumb, there's a reason behind it. And once you discover the reason, things suddenly start making sense. I'm not sure what the reason is, but maybe eventually we'll find out. I'll keep an eye on it. But leave your theories and comments below. Tesla Charging account releases its first public statement since the restructuring. Since 2012, charging has been a pillar of Tesla's mission, providing dependable freedom to travel. Supercharging is the largest network globally with the highest capital plus operational efficiency, and we will continue to sustain and grow the network. Thank you to site hosts and suppliers for your patience as we restructure internally. Morgan Stanley has a new note. We see Tesla's June 13th shareholder vote as having significance to the long-term strategic direction of the company. While impossible to predict the outcome, we expect the event could drive material volatility in the stock. An issue of control. Tesla is the only firm within Elon Musk related companies, the Muskonomy, where he does not have control or a blocking minority vote. While each of Elon Musk's companies are in some way or another AI adjacent, he has expressed his concern and discomfort with moving Tesla further into the field of AI without having around 25% voting in the event this powerful technology goes awry. So vote if you haven't yet. Warren did a poll. What would happen to Tesla's stock if Elon does not get his compensation package reapproved? No big deal. Think 22% of the people. Elon quits and Tesla goes down to 100. Think 25% of the people. 44% of the people say Elon and AI team quit. Tesla stock goes down to $30. This is from 1,500 votes, so not a huge poll, but I mean, that's also not just 5 people. So if you are thinking about voting no, think hard about what you are going to do and what is likely to happen. The next time you see Tesla bears on TV, expect them to say that Tesla is not an AI company and not even a car company anymore. Tesla is a hammer company. It just made 800 cyber hammers. These are all sold out, by the way, now. Tesla generated about $500,000 in revenue. Tesla is making a few pricing adjustments for color options in South Korea. AJ has some new thoughts about Tesla's Q1 earnings. Tesla delivered positive free cash flow of $1.2 billion adjusted for one-off items. Now, we know that free cash flow was actually negative $2.5 billion. Tesla spent $1 billion on AI infrastructure, and while the spending will continue for now, this should not be considered a permanent or perpetuity item from a valuation standpoint. The Red Sea conflict, arson attack at Gigafactory Berlin, and other factors led to a temporary spike in inventories, causing a negative Q1 cash flow impact of $2.7 billion. This too should not be considered a recurring item, and so for these reasons, the adjusted or normalized free cash flow number was $1.2 billion based on AJ's math. When Q2 earnings report comes out, we will know if AJ is right. Seeing what's going on at Giga Berlin right now, I would not be surprised if we had more one-time items. Uber is not afraid of Tesla's FSD, but Uber's core proposition is that they connect humans that need a ride to humans that own a car. If you remove the human from the car and you're now connecting humans that need a ride to robots that can take you from point A to point B, and the company that makes the robots has its own app already that humans can download. What is Uber's value proposition exactly? Now, if humans own the self-driving cars used in the Uber platform and brands still have tremendous first movers value. The only difference will be that Uber cars may not need a driver, which will lower the cost and increase ride-hailing total addressable market. And Gary says, despite Tesla's intense focus on autonomy over the past 2 years, Uber has been by far the better investment. Uber is up 178%. Here's Uber and here's Tesla. I don't quite think it's a fair chart to pick. You would need to go back to the 5-year chart, and then you can see Tesla here, and you can barely even see Uber. And this is basically a new Tesla supercharging location that has just been opened in China. The CEO of Rivian does not want to disclose the reservation numbers for their upcoming vehicle unveiled in March and slated for a 2026 launch date, citing concerns about churn and noise from a customer point of view. The only reason why he wouldn't tell you what the reservation numbers are is because the numbers are not that good. Unless he said before the unveiling event that he will not disclose the reservation numbers. If he didn't say that, this is not a good thing for Rivian. That's it for today's video. Make sure to click the like button so that we can make sure that there's no shadow ban on this channel. Here's another video from my other channel showing that it's only getting about half of the views it would normally get because my videos are only shown to about 50% of the regular viewers in the first few days. And then after the first 3 days, it does push it out a little bit more, but because it's no longer news, it's old, no one's interested. So I appreciate everyone clicking the like button. That really helps. And going forward, I'm only publishing the full daily news videos on this channel, not on the old channel anymore. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Otherwise, YouTube may stop showing you these videos completely. Subscribing sends YouTube a strong signal that this is a channel you want to watch. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.